Kyal at CMT at Wave Strategy Advisors, joining in to talk about the technicals. Afternoon, gentlemen. Okay, Ashish, what would your thoughts be, considering that you might have seen many cycles of a lot of these stocks correcting or group stocks correcting significantly? In this case, Adani, Ambuja Cements. What would you be advising your clients at this point?
See, if you look at the Adani Group stocks, definitely they are under pressure, and we all know the reasons why they have been falling. And so it's difficult to comment on the Adani stocks. But if you look at Ambuja, I think the selling pressure is because of the other reasons rather than nothing has changed internally to the fundamentals of the goods that they are supplying and things like that. So having said that, I think there is a very important support for Ambuja. If you look at the past historical charts of past six, when it was around June 2022, it was around these levels, and you are getting the stock again at those levels. I think this is a classic opportunity to accumulate Ambuja Cement at these levels around 340 to 360, because post this headwind, which is going to subside in next 1 to 2 weeks, I think this stock is going to head again back higher towards the level of 480. So these are opportunities. I have seen these kind of cycles when there is a sharp correction in the market because of a specific group of stocks. These are opportunities to possibly buy the ones that are fundamentally strong, inherent to their own cash flows that they generate. And there can be some pressure, so it can consolidate for some time. But I think Ambuja Cement should eventually head back towards that 500 levels.
Okay, so that is both of our guests sounding quite positive on Ambuja Cements. Of course, it has been a rough past 3-4 days because of the kind of pressure that we've seen on all of the Adani Group companies. But this continues to be a good pick for the longer term. She also had a query on Indus Towers that we were talking about, where she's bought it at 160 rupees. So, Ashish, what would you think of Indus Towers? Of course, the news flow on this has also been all over the place. Today, by the way, the stock is up around 7%, but it's seen sharp cuts. There's no taking away from that. So, how would you approach a stock like Indus Towers?
See, in Indus Towers, we have seen 135 as an important support. It bounced back from there, but only if the time horizon to hold the stock is at least for a year or more, then possibly stay in the stock invested. We can expect a target on the upside. The stock can again reach back towards that 180 levels. But if 135 is breached, then be out. So 135 is a very important stop loss for target of 180, but extend your time horizon for more than a year.
Okay, all right. Extend your timeline for more than a year. Indus Towers, that stock is up around 6% in what is a weak and volatile market as well. But let's get to another query. Vaibhav Rawat writes to us from Pune. He holds 85 shares of RBL Bank, which he's bought at around 200, and 100 shares of Minda Corp, which he's bought at around 270. So both mid caps. He's a medium-term investor, and he wants to know what the future prospects of his holdings are at this point.
Ashish, your thoughts on both of these stocks?
See, if you look at Minda Corp, it has a very important support placed at around 185. So possible there is some selling pressure that we have seen over the past few days, and this is because of the systematic risk. So as long as 185 is intact, I would suggest to hold on to the stock. We might start seeing a levels of around 230, 225 over the near term. And as far as RBL Bank showed a very good rise from the lower levels of around 75, went to as high as 185, and it is natural after such a huge run up. We will see some kind of a retracement towards 38.2 to 50% of the rise that we saw, and that is what we are seeing right now. So continue to hold on to RBL Bank, but again maintain a stop loss of around 132, which is a multiple price action support area. So as long as 132 is intact, continue to hold here. We might see a short-term bounce back also in the stock towards 170.
Okay, got that. The next query also comes in, from someone who is looking at the auto packs. Sachi Mehra writes to us from Gujarat. She holds 10 shares of Maruti, which she bought at 5,080 rupees a piece. She's a medium-term investor, and she wants to know what she should do with these investments. Vijay, Maruti actually posted really strong earnings, right? We got a slew of upgrades also after the earnings did come through. So how do you look at this right now? Also, 2023 is expected to be a strong year in the sense that there are a lot of, huge lineup of new launches. You have that SUV which is awaited. So do you think this is a good pick as we get into that kind of time? Ashish, let me come to you first on Asian Paints. How do you look at this one? I mean, he's holding it since, I think he said since it was at 150. So if he's held it for that many years, he's definitely been rewarded for it. But you take us through do you think this is one of those companies that you can safely have in your portfolio for a long time?
Yes, absolutely. Because if he's holding from the level of 150, I think he has been invested since 2010 onwards. That was the last time you saw Asian Paint quoting at around 150 level. So it's a first of all, I like to congratulate him for holding it that long and making it a multi-bagger stock from 150 to all the way towards that 3000 levels. And I would suggest to continue to hold on over here. We are seeing some correction over the short term, no doubt about it. But this is the opportunity to possibly average out or buy, not average out, but pyramid and buy more of these kind of stocks. And on the downside, Asian Paint has a very important support at 2550. As long as that is intact, I think the stock is again going to head back towards that 3200 odd levels on the upside. And from a longer term perspective, this stock has been known for giving returns to its investors for over the period of a decade or 2 decades if you check the chart. So continue to hold on to the stock. I don't think there is any issue with the stock, and he might see much more higher levels from here.
Okay, all right. So positive on the long term for Asian Paints. Thanks for that, Ashish.